Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to wipe a drive in Windows through command prompt. Now, the reason why we would need to do this is if, let's say, Disk Manager isn't able to delete a partition some of the time, like if you upgrade to a new drive, or maybe you've got a hand-me-down drive that already has something installed on it. It'll have Windows protected partitions that disk management can't actually delete or shrink or extend or format. So we use command prompt to delete these things and to take pretty much an administrative form of deletion for these partitions, and it ends up working. Now, a couple things to note, or actually one thing to note. If you're using an SSD, as long as your SSD is in good standing and it hasn't reached its write and read limit, then this should also work. Now, if your SSD is to the point where you can't delete or change any partitions, no matter what you do, then it's probably at the end of life period of that SSD, and this might not even work as well. So that being said, I'm gonna go over to the computer now and show you how to quickly do this. And at the end of the video, I'll show you an alternative free software you can use to do this, which is a little bit easier, and you don't have to do any typing. You just have to click a couple buttons and it does the exact same stuff. So stay tuned for the end. That way you guys can see it, an easier way of doing it, totally free. And here we go. All right, so here we are at our desktop. I have disk management open, and these are my two drives that I have currently installed. So this is my main drive, the one that's running on the computer now, and then this is the drive that I want to delete. So if you notice, disk management, if you right click on this partition here, it will not let you do anything. Everything is grayed out. Just the help button works. If you want to work with the new volume, you can. That does let you shrink it. It lets you delete it. Lets you format. But the problem is that we need to get rid of this partition here. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to wipe the entire drive using the command prompt. So type CMD, right click, run as administrator. Remember to run it as administrator. While in here, when this pops up, and we're going to try to do this quickly, we're going to type disk part. So it's DISKPART. It'll activate the disk partitioning part of command prompt. At this point, we need to work within the drive that we want to delete. So to do this, we need to find out what drive it is. And here on disk management, it'll tell you this one is disk 0, and then this one is disk 1. We don't want to work with this one. We want to work with disk 0. To do that, go back to your disk partition here, or command prompt, and type in list disk, and it'll list both the disks there. And as you notice here, it also tells you disk 0 and disk 1. So we want to work within disk 0 to delete the entire disk, to delete all the partitions on it. So for this, we're going to type in select disk 0, and it tells you disk 0 is not being selected. So the only thing that you need to do here to wipe that partition, to wipe that entire drive out and give you full access, is type clean. CLEAN, clean. Boom. Disk part has succeeded in cleaning the disk. And there you go. Now it's unallocated. So what needs to happen now? Now that it's unallocated, disk management should have access. So we're going to close in administrative command prompt, disk part here. Just completely close that. We're going to concentrate on here. Now we need to initialize it within disk management. We could do that through disk part as well, but since disk management is a little easier to use, we're going to do it through here. So if you click on here, you right click, initialize disk. It'll ask if you want MBR or GPT. For this example, we're going to do MBR, and we're going to press OK. Okay, so that's good. So now that the little icon here is gone, and this is a simple or a basic partition, it's still going to be unallocated. But now if I right click on it, it'll tell me I can create a new simple volume. So create new simple volume, click next. I'm selecting the entire thing because I want to use this as a data drive. And we'll select a letter here. You can select whatever you want. I'm going to just go with the default D. We're not going to mount or anything. I'm going to click next. and we can name the volume. Let's say data, because we're going to use it for data. And then we're going to click next and finish, and this should work. Boom, data. Now this is a healthy partition. That other partition is completely gone, and it shall now appear here as one as before, and now you can use this. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to show you an easier way to do this without having to do all the typing, and that is using a software called Partition Wizard. So we're going to close this out, or actually we're going to keep this open. We're going to go to our internet and type in Partition Wizard. You don't have to do Partition Wizard free. The software is free to do what I needed to do. And within here, we're going to click on Mini Partition Wizard and go in here. While in here, hover over Home, because we don't want to pay for the Pro or any of that. We don't need any of that extra stuff. And click on Partition Wizard Free. And down the big blue button right here, just click on Download Now. Once it's downloaded, click on the .exe, and it'll launch the program. Select your language. And I don't need the Shadow Maker, I just need the Partition Wizard. So we're going to unclick that, and we're going to unclick the Participate in Customer Experience Improvement Program. Click Next. Just going to install it in the default folder. It already exists because I had already installed it before. But yeah, we're going to replace it. We're just going to replace it. And let this install fully. In the meantime, let's see, let's close this. Alright, so it's installed. Now we're going to launch it. You can unclick this if you want, but we're just going to, for this example, we're at least just going to launch it at the start. Alright, so this is what Minitool Partition Wizard looks like. Very simple to use. So it just like disk management, it shows you both drives here. And all you need to do to work with it, with this, is go to the drive that you want to delete. So in this case here, we can click up here or we can click down here. And it says delete all partitions. So click on delete all partitions, click yes. And then as you notice, look, it's prompting you to click apply or undo, which means everything that you do up until you hit apply, everything that you do is not permanent. You can always undo, so I can always go back, boom, it sets it back to normal. But for this example, we're going to delete our partitions, and click apply. Click apply, click yes, and it'll delete everything. So I just did the exact same thing that we did on command prompt with this part. And the cool thing about this software is that since you don't have to type anything, I can actually do, let's say, create one. I can create a data partition here. Click OK. Click apply, click yes. It'll create that partition again here. And if I want to split this, all I have to do is click on the partition, right click, go to split, and let's say I only want to use, I want to leave 80 gigs of data. I'll click OK. And then while I'm still here, I can now split this and click apply. Yes. Now this is changed. As you see it here on disk management, it's actually doing everything. So this is still considered a logical drive. So we don't want that. We're going to split that again, or we're going to delete it here and just work within that one partition. And we'll delete that. And then we'll create another one. We'll call it, let's say, pictures, if we really want to delete it. If we really want to split all this up. And click OK. Click apply. And it'll create that for us there. Now the best thing about this that I find useful is if you want to use, let's say, like something that runs at FAT32, you can actually go back to any of these partitions, and let's try to split the small one here. We'll split it in half. Click OK, and then this one we're going to delete. All right, and then right click. I'm going to create one. Choose FAT32. Call it software. And then click OK, and then click apply. Boom. Alright, sweet. So within just with the software, without typing anything, just right clicking and selecting things. Now we've made one NTFS partition for data here. We've made one FAT32 partition. for here in case we have some kind of software that we need to launch off of that only runs FAT32. That's gonna do its thing. We also have another partition here, and we can keep going and do this multiple times, as many times as we want. So we can just keep splitting and splitting and splitting and splitting. So obviously doing this with this part would probably take a long time, and we can even format the end of this to just something time. I don't know, just name it whatever you want. And this makes our job a lot easier. Now the cool thing is that this is all free, or at least this program is free. We'll delete this, click apply, and it'll be unallocated there. And if I mess everything up, at the end of the day, I can always just go to the actual drive here, right click, and delete all partitions. Click apply, hit next, and right click, create, name it back to data, make sure it's sent to TFS, and click apply. And there it is. There's my my drive there, and it should appear right here. Now, if you want to change the drive letter, you could actually just right click on that already, and you can change the letter here. It has an option to do that. So a new drive letter, we're going to select H, click OK, click apply, click OK, and then this should be H now, and there it is, H. Alright, so as you can see from this example, yes, being able to do command prompt is good, but there are alternatives, and as you saw, it is super simple and easy to use. That software partition wizard, it's amazing. Now you could pay for the pro version, and you'll be able to do cloning. You could be able to do copying and pasting of different things. But for our case here, where we're just using it to create partitions, delete partitions, and modify partitions, it is perfect for what we need it for. So if this video was helpful and informative, please make sure you subscribe and share the video. It should help somebody out there. Maybe they're trying to just delete something that they can't get rid of. I don't know. But share the knowledge with everybody else. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one, and I hope you guys liked the video. Take care.